Already, you are looking live. It's sold out MetLife Stadium where today the 16-0 and playoff bound New York Giants are taking on the 0-16 Philadelphia Eagles. And why are the Philadelphia Eagles 0-16? Because they suck. They suck. They suck. They started 10-1. Now they're 11-5 because they suck. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all that's going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching the replay this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. Going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight. Shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free, fire away, throw it in the chat box. Usually try to check on the chat box like every 5 or 10 minutes or so. So as soon as I see something in there, I try to respond to it as fast as I can. So please feel free to fire away. But also, instead of me just, rambling on for half an hour, 45 minutes, or whatever it might wind up being, it's just nice to talk to another Giant fan. So please feel free and fire away. Before I get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below, the very top link in the description box takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon. Second one's called the Lawrence Taylor. And the third membership level I got is called the Gridiron. Each one's got their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me. Thank you in advance. Thank you. If you are subscribed to my channel, once again, thank you. I can use all the support I can get, guys. But if not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, and hit that bell icon. That way next time I go live, or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. Oh, hold on. Time out on the field. I got to move the chair for my buddy Randy here. Hold on. Okay, watch out, buddy. Watch out. Okay, Randy's here. All right, Randy's here. We can continue. And then finally, just a little ways down in the description box, there's 2 additional links. The top one's a Facebook link, which I'll go over in just a second. The one just underneath it, I'm an old-time fart. So that second link, it's Twitter. It's always been Twitter. It's Twitter today. It'll be Twitter tomorrow. 3,000 years from now, it'll be Twitter. Why? Because I'm an old-time fart. I just don't like change, right? Whatever letter of the alphabet Elon Musk wants to call it, that's on you, brother. I'm not calling at it. It's Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. I'll follow you back. That's an absolute promise. My Twitter account, I usually try to put Giants-related information in there every day. So if you follow me, I will follow you back. That's an absolute promise. And then the link just above it, all right, it takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's a group. We have over 7,500 members in the group. It's doing simply marvelous, might I add. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing and if I have internet access, I am putting stuff in this group 365. And not only do I put stuff in the group, but members post stuff in there as well. So if you join the group, you can post stuff in there as well. So between me and the members, there's a ton. There's a boatload. There's also a lot of New York Giants information going in this group every day. Please, it's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron, the group. Please join it, become a member. You won't be dissatisfied. I promise. All right, all that stuff said and done out of the way with. Well, man, I tell you, this is, what would you say? See, last year, right? We had, a good season. The new regime came in, playoff win, playoff win. Of course, we got throttled by the Eagles, but we made it to playoff win and all that stuff and everything. And, just a lot of obviously, as was last year, was this year, Saquon, right? But also last year, it was some of it was kind of like, what can we add to the group to, maybe catch up to the Eagles or the Cowboys a little bit, and what was going on with Saquon, right? Of course, Daniel Jones, then, we're going to be able to work out a deal with him, Kafka, Wink Martindale, right? And who can we add to the pieces to the puzzle? We got a good core there and all that stuff. Who can we add, right? This year, it's, a lot different. This year, different. we're a lot different. But one of the things that's pretty much the same. I mean, this last year, I mean, you look at it as like, are we going to be able to keep Kafka? Ooh, I mean, man, I'll tell you what, he's getting, job interviews and this. It's like, man, we might lose our offensive coordinator. Darn. This year, it's like we're kind of maybe opening the door, getting ready to just kick him out the door. You know what I mean? So what a difference a year makes. But one of the things that's, that's same as, once again, Saquon. Now, I saw an article that says, Saquon has been pondering a fresh start. What the hell does he need? 84 yards or something like that? I think he needs like 84 yards for another 1,000-yard season. I think he had like 80 yards rushing against the Eagles the last time we played him. It would be a nice thing to try to maybe keep pounding the rock with him. See, it would be nice to get him 1,000 yards. Obviously, everybody on the sideline and everything, the offensive lineman, everybody knows it, how many yards he needs and everything like that. So hopefully they can get him his 1,000 yards. That'd be absolutely fantastic. It's just the thing going forward. And, it's it's going to be a 7th season. He had a very good season. He stayed relatively healthy. He had a nice season and all that stuff and everything. He certainly had some good games in there and this, that, and the other thing. So it can be very interesting to see what the Giants decide to do going forward with it. I mean, are they going to, of course, he's going to want $15 million a season. I don't know, what their anticipation is on that and all, but we can also franchise tag him again for another $12 million. So we'll have to wait and see which way they're going to go. I mean, it's going to be it's going to be one of the one of the many storylines this off season, and it's going to start at about 7:26 this Sunday. So today's what? Yeah, Thursday, so Friday, Saturday. So in 3 days from now, the clock will be ticking on the Saquon watch. So I did see this article. You can kind of go both either way on this. Saquon, it says here from Giants Wire, has admitted he's pondered a fresh start. He's also pondered, retiring a Giant as well, too. Says Giants running back Saquon Barkley has never been shy about his desire to bookend his career with Big Blue. He wants to leave a legacy in East Rutherford, and ideally he'll never wear another uniform. But with the disappointing 2023 regular season coming to an close, Barkley recognized that what happens next is beyond his control. Obviously, that's a possibility, Barkley said, of Sunday being his last game with the Giants. A lot of that's out of my control. Yeah, so I mean, as I said, this is a lot. Which direction does Shane and Dable want to go in? I mean, obviously, Saquon is huge. He's had some good moments and this, that, and the other thing. He's also had some disappointing moments as well, too. Dropping a pass, here and there and all of that. You can certainly, it's certainly you're at the point where you can replace him. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, I would hate. Sorry, buddy. Sorry. Sometimes I move my legs and my good boy's right there. I'm sorry, buddy. Oh, love you. I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to kick you. I love you. But you're also at the point where you can start replacing them. I mean, it's not like this is Saquon in his 2nd season or Saquon in his 3rd season or something like that. He's gonna be Saquon. Next season will be Saquon in his 7th season, right? 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. 7th season. Now, does that mean he's over the hill, put him out the pasture and all that? Of course not. Absolutely not. I hopefully, wherever he goes, we don't have to face him twice a year, something like that. But, he's starting to get to the point. As I said, I would hate to lose him. I would love to have the guy stay around. But sometimes the economics or the money just doesn't line up, and instead of paying him maybe 12, because you have to pay him at least $12 million. I mean, he's not taking a He's not going to come back for $10 million. He's going to test the waters and see what he can do. So pay him $12 million. Franchise tag him, guaranteed 12.2 or whatever it might wind up being. Or get somebody else in here for 2. Draft somebody, right? I mean, you can draft somebody real good in the second round, I'm sure. You're not taking somebody. There's no running back in the top 5. It's going, Jesus Christ is not in the top 5. I can tell you that much. But I'm saying, you can draft somebody in the second, third round or so, and I'm sure can probably, a lot less, with a lot more tread left on the tires than Saquon. You can go out there and you pick your guy. Could be. It doesn't matter. I mean, I don't know the guys coming out, but you spanning the globe, right? Spanning the collegiate teams. You're like, this dude from freaking Utah State. Holy cow! You see the hands this guy's got? Or this guy from Arizona. Damn! You see the thighs on that mother? Or this guy from Colorado, whatever. I'm just throwing, Colorado State. I mean, geez, you see the quick, this or that, I mean, you get guys out there. Maybe it's going to be maybe a Saquon from 2018, but can you draft somebody in the third round, maybe in the second round? I mean, that'll be a little crazy, but second round, third round, who can? Right? I mean, look what the Jets did. Like Hall, right? In the second round, I believe it was. The guy's good. Second round. You got a guy for a little over $1 million. They got a little guy for a little over $1 million. I mean, they let Dalvin Cook go, right? So they got a guy in the second round for a little over $1 million a year for 4 years, right? So for 4 years, they're going to pay the guy $5 million, who's doing just as good of a job as Saquon can do. So you figure, for Hall for 4 years cost him $5 million. Saquon in the next 4 years is going to cost the Giants like $50 million. If they're going to franchise that, you know what I mean? So sometimes the economics just ain't going to line up. So it'd be interesting to see. Also, I mean, if Saquon, it's one of those things is how much is the money, worth to him? How much is it leaving a legacy here with Big Blue worth it to him. Also, we're not winning a Super Bowl next season. Newsflash. If anything, it's going to take a couple of seasons. If we draft a quarterback, we're not, I don't see us winning anything next season. If we drafted, one of the top quarterbacks, would they take us in 2 seasons to a Super Bowl? I'll have to wait and see. I mean, so, you start looking at, Saquon, the clock is ticking on his career. Now, I'm saying, does that mean that he can't play for another 5 seasons, 6 seasons, maybe? It depends. A lot of it depends upon, obviously, his health and how much money he wants to take. In 5 seasons from now, would he be okay with being a third string quarterback? Is he okay being a third string running back for San Diego, making $1.5 million a year? Is he okay with that, or is it a pride thing? I've been making $10 million. I'm good. What's it worth to him? Does he want to? Will he take $1.5 million a year in 5 years from now just to play football? Maybe have a chance at hoisting the Lombardi Trophy at the end of it. It's up to him. I have to wait and see. I hate to see him go anywhere else, but not everybody, as Shep says in my last article here, which I'm going to go over, not everybody walks off into the sunset. Like Strahan. Not everybody walks off into the sunset like John Elway, holding a Lombardi Trophy. I retire. Yeah, that don't happen with everybody. So, actually, quite a few people. Very rarely ever happens, though. So, but if I can find an article there again. If they franchise me again, I don't know. I don't think any player wants to get franchise tagged, he said. Sometimes a franchise tag is a placeholder to work on a deal later. In my case, it wasn't last year. So, I mean, if I got tagged again, I think I could give you a better answer or talk about my emotions at the time if it does happen. But then again, you still look at it, I mean, and I understand. But I mean, but you're guaranteed $12 million, and I get it. You're looking for the big prize, and I understand. But once again, you're guaranteed $12 million. Whether you play one game, 10 games, 5 games the whole season, you're guaranteed over $12 million. If you don't want it, you can send it my way. I'm more than happy. My family and I will more than happy to take the $12 million. Let's also not forget, and of course, we always feel bad for these guys and this, that, and I understand, they're getting them. I get that. But, once their football career is over with, the world does not come to an end. Shocking. The world goes on. The sun comes out tomorrow. It'll set. It'll come back up. The world continues, right? You play your cards right? While you're playing football, there's the world is your freaking oyster. You can make more money after football than you do during football, right? So, and these guys got all these endorsements and stuff like that. So, I mean, I didn't get the. I get it, I understand, but it's horrible, right? But you got 12 million or 10 million, what I mean? But, some of the money these other guys are making, with other endorsements and stuff, they're not doing too bad. And I said, you get some of these guys like, are making more money after football than they are during football, right? So, so that's not, I mean, it's and I said, I understand and did all that stuff. Let's make my money. I mean, but, it's not like, oh, my playing career is over with. I won't be able to make another dollar the rest of my life. Whatever I make here, that's it. No. No. Yeah, there's a lot of money out there, whole lots of money for you to make after football's over. So let's not, but anyway. Even Barkley admits that he's pondered a fresh start elsewhere or back with the Giants. I've mentioned it before that I wanted to be a Giant for life. That was a goal of mine when I got drafted. I wanted to leave a legacy here, but it's out of my control. I truly have no say. It's up to those guys upstairs, to Joe and all those guys. They've got to do what's best for the team, Barkley said. Does a fresh start cross my mind? I guess anybody, when you look at the season, they want it. I feel like everybody would want a fresh start, not just saying somewhere else, but just a clean slate. That's how I look at it, to be honest. Barkley has never openly discussed hitting the open market or playing for another team before, so perhaps the writing is on the wall. Maybe Sunday's game really will be Barkley's last as a member of the New York Giants. Then again, maybe not. Let's hope not. Let's hope not. I hope not. But once again, it's the bad. I mean, Shane and Dale. Shane's going to be like, this is what we have for you. This is what you're worth to us. And Barkley's, I'm worth $15 million a year. Shane's like, nah, sorry, you're only worth 8 or 9 or so. They're going to be button heads, and maybe they can meet in the middle. Whatever. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But I would love to have Saquon back. But I mean, economics has to be for the best for the team. I mean, if somebody will certainly scoff up Saquon, but I don't know if anybody out there is going to wind up giving him $15 million a season or something like that. So we'll have to wait and see. But I certainly hope it's not his last game. And if it is his last game, let's get the freaking guy his 80-something yards, whatever he needs. Let's get the guy another 1,000-yard season. Come on, offensive line, it's up to you. Let's open up. And it's a little easier said than done against the front wall of the Eagles. But he did get over 80 yards rushing against the Eagles, and their secondary alignment is not the best. The Cardinals had over 200 yards rushing against the Eagles in Philadelphia. So, if the Cardinals can do it, the Giants, I'm not saying get 200 yards, but the Giants can get some yards, especially if we're at home too, right? So, Come on, Saquon. Let's get this, brother. You got it, man. Let's get it. And the offensive line, too. Right. All right, and then we got the Giants offense versus the Eagles defense. The second time around. What happened the first time? This is who is this here? This is SI, Giants Country. Who wrote this here? Brandon Olson from 12 hours ago. The Giants simply couldn't muster up even a respectable offense against the Eagles in Week 16. Of the 25 points scored, 8 came on Adoree Jackson, pick 6, and 2-point conversion, and 7 more came from the 2 Eagle players colliding on a kickoff return, causing a butt fumble. And the thing I love about it was Boston Scott, the Giant Killer. Get the out of here, Giant Killer. I mean, it's just. I mean, if he's that good, he'd have 300 rushing touchdowns or 300 touchdowns in his career. He's not that good. Don't get me wrong. If you're in the professional football league and you got a uniform on your back, you're a heck of a football player. You're a heck of an athlete. He deserves everything he gets and all that stuff. So let's not take any. But I mean, Giant Killer. Come on. It's just one of those things. It's just he just happens to fall into, every time he seems to play the Giants. And I'm sure Nick Sirianni or, even likes to make a joke out of it. Oh, we're down to the 1-yard line. Let's send Boston Scott in, hand the ball to him 13 times. He'll get in because he's a Giant Killer. Boston Scott with another touchdown. The Eagles beating up on the Giants. The Giants, it's a downtime for the Giants. The Eagles always have a good offensive line. So, you hand the ball to a guy, he's gonna have some success against the Giants. If he's that good, why doesn't he have 38 touchdowns against the Cowboys? He does. Why? Because he's not that good. Okay, he's just, So, very, very nice that the butt fumble happened to from Boston Scott. So, how good is he now? Right. So. Offensively, the Giants couldn't do much, but in the defense here, it was only the second game for Matt Patricia to call plays for the Eagles defense, and it was the first game in which he had a week to prepare. Now, the Eagles have put out more film, including how they play to defend the Giants, so that could be, right? And Patricia trying to throw everything he could at Tommy Chicken Cutlets and Tyrod Taylor. Not in the sense of blitzing frequently, but the Eagles spent a lot of time crowding the line of scrimmage and only rushing 4 defenders, but consistently rotating which the 4 defenders were used as rushers, though. One way that Patricia has changed the Eagles' defense versus what Sean Desai ran is that Patricia is more akin to using zone coverage on obvious passing situations like 2nd or 3rd and long. In contrast, Desai would play more man coverage or zone coverage with man principles. The Giants had an acceptable game plan going to the first matchup, but execution was hard in some key parts. That's been a theme this all season long. Execution. There's been so many times, so many times that execution has been poor. It's not like the play call has been bad. It's not, the Lucky Charms leprechaun didn't wave his magic wand over the Giants this particular play. Not like that. The guys on the field are not executing. And when you're paid money, good money, to execute a play and you don't do it, whose fault's that, right? Whose fault's that? Execution. Giants had an acceptable game plan going into the first match, but execution was horrid, which put the team in impossible situations far too often. What should change? Schematically, there's only so much that an offense can do when the defense is significantly better than them talent-wise. Well, the Eagles up front, their front 4. The front wall is very, very good. Their corner Slay. I don't know if he's going to be playing, but he's got a knee injury. Bradberry's not the same. Their linebacker, the coverage, and their safeties, and it's not very good. The Cardinals had 30-something first downs, over 200 yards rushing. They had like 400 and something yards of offense. The second half, they were just walking up and down the field against the Eagles, just walking up and down the field. Now, they had Kyler Murray, who's very good on his feet. Let's not forget about that. But, I mean, their defense is not what it was in 2022. As the Eagles shift more towards zone coverage, the Giants should continue to look throwing screens to their wide receivers. I get the ball in the hands of Jalen Hyatt, huh? Right? When a defense plays zone coverage, attacking with screens is generally a sound concept, but the Giants insist on throwing those screens to running backs more than anything else. By far, that's the worst way for the Giants to utilize screens. When running a running back screen, defensive linemen are more likely to carry the back out of the backfield. Like if they see, if somebody's, zoned in, whatever, you got the four rushers, right? So if Saquon goes out of the, just wanders out of the bat, whatever like that, one of these guys might go with him. If Saquon goes this way, one of these two rushers, might go with him, right? And there goes maybe your screen pass, right? But when throwing to wide receivers, you're more protected from defensive linemen blowing the play up. Yeah, because they can't get out there fast enough. The Giants should look to what the Cardinals did last week, which I'm saying, which is, is the two things. It's one, it's like, now you're starting to see what Matt Patricia's kind of doing, down in distance and all of that stuff, right? But then you also can, so you got that, but then you look, what did the Cardinals do in that second half? I think it was 21-6. I know it was 14-6. I hate the Eagles, but I was following the score and all of that and everything. And it was 7-3 Eagles. Then I think the Eagles scored again, and then the Cardinals scored another field goal. So the Eagles scored a touchdown, Cardinals got a field goal. The Eagles scored a touchdown, Cardinals got a field goal. Then I think the Eagles scored again another time. It was like 21-6. I think it was 21-6 at halftime. Or it wasn't at halftime. It was like in the third quarter or something like that. But then that second half, what the did the Cardinals do in the second? Walking up and down the field, marching up and down the square. They wound up winning. Was it 31-28? I believe it was. So I mean, the Eagles basically really couldn't stop them in the second. They just, the Cardinals got the ball. And I think the Eagle was a 35-31 maybe. Eagles kicked the field goal to make it 31-28. 31-28. My bad. I apologize. Cardinals got the ball back where that wasn't a lot of time, 2 minutes to go or so, whatever it was. And they 2.5 minutes or so, and they just walked right down the field. And it got to the point where with the Cardinals scoring, I was like, dude, you guys are scoring too fast. Right? Because I think after they scored their touchdown, they left like 30 seconds or so left on the clock, 35 seconds or something. I'm like, Thankfully, they kicked the extra point, which made it a 4-point lead. So the Eagles had to score a touchdown, but they got the ball to 25. I think they completed a pass or so, and which allowed them to throw a Hail Mary into the end zone. Thankfully, it got intercepted. But, I mean, the Cardinals, they got the ball, and I'm like, man, there was still lots of time, but, pretty much it was like when the Cardinals got the ball, 2.5 minutes or so left to go in the game, somewhere around there. But I was like, pretty much this is it, guys. You either score a touchdown or kick a field goal, tie it up. But if you can, let's see if we can maybe score a touchdown and maybe turn the lights out in Philly, huh? Shall we? So they went down there, right? But they got down there so fast. It was like, I'm saying, man, you're scoring too quick. You're down there too quickly. Let's take a little more time off the clock. We don't want to give the Eagles any time because, that's what happened like with Buffalo. I think Buffalo toward the end of regulation, Buffalo was ahead, but then they left some time on the clock for the Eagles, and the Eagles walked right down the field at home against Buffalo, and they kicked the tying field goal or something like to send it in overtime. So you don't want to leave the Eagles too much time offensively, right? But I'm saying, the Cardinals had 3 wins. They were just walking right down against a rather porous Philadelphia secondary, right? So let's see if the Giants can take advantage of that. But they're kind of saying in this article here, get maybe some wide receiver screens. As I said, so instead of a lineman carrying Saquon out of the backfield for a screen, right? Get the ball, bam, right? Get the ball out in space. get one or two, somebody out there doing a little bit of blocking, maybe Hyatt can juke one guy, get out some space and maybe go, right? I mean, can we see that? Is that too much to ask? It's like we're asking Jaylen, sorry, buddy. The only way we're going to get you the ball, you got to run your pattern. You got to get separation. Then we'll throw you the ball. Other than that, sorry, we're not going to get the ball in your hands. It's like, what are we doing? What are we doing? They're like the fastest guy in the whole field. And nope, sorry, you got to run a pass pattern and, break down, go toward the sideline. If you have enough separation, we'll throw you the ball. You can make the catch. I mean, you go deep, but, if you got somebody going with it and you got somebody over the top, well, we won't throw the ball because you're not open. Let's get the ball in the guy's hands. Jesus Christ. Anyway, let's see. The Giants look to do what the Cardinals did last week against the Eagles and try replicating some of that plan. Usually gap-based rushing attack that gets your ball carriers in space on the edge. The Giants have used pin-pull sweeps effectively before, as well as running counter. Those have to be part of the game plan if the Giants want to move the ball more effectively. The Cardinals also attack the area between the hash marks and numbers in the passing game. Whether it was curls, drags, slants, or outs from the tight end, the catch and run opportunities were there for the Cardinals receivers. So, let's, if we can, do some, see what worked. What worked? What did the Cardinals do, right? And replicate that. 10 players are going to be ex-Giants after Sunday's game versus the Eagles. Yeah, well, it's going to be quite a few of them. That's why we got ourselves some turnaround here. That's for sure. All right, so who do we have here? So, we got the season finale for the Giants. Could also be the last time several free agents. They've got Saquon Barkley. We're not messing around. We are starting off with the big fish. Barkley and the Giants fell a couple $1 million short of a multi-year deal last season. Whether or not the Giants want to try to reach a deal with Barkley somewhere like 3 years for like 36, $12 million a year, right? 36 to 39. For the first 2 seasons guaranteed is my guess, at a deal that could get done is anybody's guess, though. Barkley has a good but not a great year. He will be 27 next year. He suffered yet another high ankle sprain. There was another year of wear and tear on his body, with Barkley having 268 touches entering week 18. I don't know what is going to happen. One thing I do expect, though, is that Barkley won't play nice this time around if the Giants try to use the franchise tag. Yeah. Because, it's like, use it on me once. Okay. It's like, either sign me or just set me free. Don't keep franchise. Don't try. Cause he wants that, a few years, a few years, some nice guaranteed money, whatever like that. Don't keep doing this. So that's another possibility too. It's like, he don't need the money. Okay. He has endorsements and all that stuff and everything like that. So if you franchise tag me again, I'm not showing up. Don't come at me. I'm not playing, not showing up. Do whatever you want. I'm not showing up. I don't need the money. I can do endorsements. I can start doing, whatever. I start making lots of money doing other things. I don't need the money. So you franchise tag me again. I'm not. If I have a franchise, I'm not signing it. I'm not walking into the door. I'm not showing up for the side of franchise. That's not happening. You know what I mean? So you could call their bluff without question. And I'm saying, he's getting to that point in his career where, he wants a nice little contract, right? A couple of years, if it's a 3-year deal, just saying it'll be his 7th year, his 8th year, maybe his 9th year, right? Then maybe he can, after that, work on 1-year deals after that and maybe retire. So we'll have to wait and see. All right, then you got Adoree Jackson. And what is this? This is from Big Blue View. Adoree Jackson, I've thought all season that this would be the last for Jackson with the Giants. I like Jackson. I've had number of pleasant conversations with him over the last year or so, but I have to write this. The number of times Jackson turned down contact Sunday against the Rams, including Puka Nakua's 80-yard catch. Yeah. I had time to shove him out of bounds. I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry, pal. Oh, my good boy. I'm so sorry. He was sleeping. Sorry, pal. Go back to sleep, buddy. Yeah, it's like I'm not overly impressed. Is he a great teammate? Is he great for the locker room? All this stuff and everything? Absolutely, and all everything. But if you want $20 million a year, let's see some contact or something. See, there's also if you want $20 million a year as a cornerback, okay, do you get a lot of interceptions? You know what I mean? You're the Deion Sanders kind, right? I pick passes off. I take them to the houses. So maybe some of the tackling might be a little business decision. I'll return a punt for you. I can bring it back to that. Right? Well, that's not. He had the interception. We ran that back, but he doesn't get interceptions. And he's not. Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. Let me move the chair for you. I'm sorry, pal. Good boy. So I woke him up. But then again, it's like another thing. It's like, okay, all right. So if you're not, that, okay, but are you a tackling machine? Are you in there? Are you in there for contact and all that stuff and everything? And he's not either. He's a nice, he's nice. Okay. But, are they going to bring him back for maybe another $20 million or so, whatever, for a season? Nah, I don't think so. I'd be rather shocked if they brought him back. Xavier McKinney. This is going to be interesting. The Giants should not be in the business of hemorrhaging young, homegrown talent. Figuring out what McKinney is, though, and what he's worth is not going to be an easy task. Not to mention whether or not he truly fits in with Wink Martindale's defense. If, of course, Martindale is back. Yeah, that's true. My suspicion is that a little bit like Julian Love a year ago, McKinney and his camp might see his value different than the Giants will. But the thing was, it's kind of like the Giants. Or for Julian Love, I think it was like $8 million a year or something like that. Seattle offered him less money. Well, he's an all-pro too. I forgot what game it was. He got torched for a couple touchdowns in one game. Seattle offered him less, and that's where he went. So I don't know what some of these guys are thinking. No idea. He went from New York City all the way across the country to take less money to a team that's probably not gonna make the playoffs. So I don't know. You got me. So once again, we'll have to wait and see with McKinney. McKinney, this is time for his big payday, right? His rookie contract's up. It's time for me to start making some do-re-mi. What's he going to want? Are the Giants even going to want him back? Somebody will sign him, of course, but is he going to want his 13, 14, 15 a year or something like that? So we'll have to wait and see. Once again, we'll have to wait and see. Be interesting because do the Giants think Dane Belton can take over his spot between Pinnock and Belton? We'll have to say, got Javarius Owens. Giants might have to draft themselves a safety to get some depth in there. So we'll have to wait and see. I'll have to wait and see if they can bring McKinney back. You got Belton, you got Pinnock, you got McKinney, right? You got Javarius Owens. You can always draft a safety maybe in the later rounds, the third day, pick in the draft, right? And maybe add a little more depth to the safety. But we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. The Giants need another edge rusher. They need another edge rusher. And they're going to need another cornerback if they let Adoree Jackson go. So I'll have to wait, have to wait and see. Tyrod Taylor. They've seen the signal that Taylor, a journeyman backup quarterback who sometimes looks like Josh Allen and other times looks like Jake Fromm, won't be back next season. He will eagerly be picked up by another NFL team and will probably stay in the league as long as he wants to. Sterling Shepard, unfortunately, yeah. I'm going to go over this with Shep. I got another article here, so I'll go over that with him. Ben Bredesen. Now, this is his last. This would be a shame. He's a decent player. As I'm saying, he has He can play both guard spots and center. Now, he's not a star, maybe not a star starter, but he can be some good quality depth for you. Said Bredesen, what to do with the 25-year-old who's a tough call. He has 24 starts and 44 NFL games, but he probably isn't a guy you want to pencil in as a week one starter. No, but he can be some depth for you. The thing is that, if this is it for him, if they have to resign him, what does he think he's worth? Right? I would be on the board with bringing Bredesen back as an interior offensive line backup. Oh, yeah. And that's what it is. He's interior offensive line. He can play all three positions. I mean, come on. But not paying him starter caliber money. No. And counting on him to be part of the best five offensive. No, absolutely not. Justin Pugh. Oh, yeah. Thank you, brother. Love you. Bye-bye. Pugh is a great guy. Now, if he wants to retire a Giant, absolutely. Bring the guy back, sign him a one day contract or whatever, and you go out as a Giant, brother. Yes, absolutely. But he came straight off the couch, and although I'll tell you what, I wouldn't be surprised one bit though if he continued his career and he had a great season with somebody else. Somebody else picks him up and he winds up being an all-star or something like that. I mean, just the way that seems to happen with the Giants. Thing is, Pugh, the player, hasn't been very good. You can excuse the poor play at left tackle. He didn't belong there. 33, coming off a major knee injury and not having played that spot since 2015. Truthfully, though, he has been better off at guard either. The last 3 weeks, he has given up 3 sacks, 12 pressures, and his Pro Football Focus grades have been 29.5, 35.9, and 48.5. His overall PFF score, 3 games at left tackle, 7 at left guard, is 40.7. Worst of his career and 20 points below his 2022 mark. In 10 games, the 35 pressures he's given up is the most since his 2013 rookie season with the Giants. In 7 games at guard, Pugh has allowed 4 sacks and 26 pressures. Yeah, so I mean, A'Shawn Robinson. Now, I'll tell you what, he has some injuries early on. He seems to be coming back, and he's doing pretty. I think we got some dead cap money for him for next season. It says here, the 28-year-old signed a 1-year, $5 million contract, $4 million guaranteed to help provide interior defensive line help. He has seen his role and his production increase since the midseason trade of Leonard Williams. Absolutely. The Giants could really use another player like the caliber of Williams along this defensive front, and that's not Robinson. He is, though, a pretty good player. I would be okay with another reasonably priced 1-year deal. Yeah, if they can bring him back for another, as I said, there's some dead cap money of his this in 2024. It's not. It's like $1 million or $2 million. But I mean, if they can bring him back, especially get some good quality depth, then absolutely, I would certainly like to bring him back. But they could use. I mean, if you get Sexy Dexy, if you can get somebody else next to him, we need to get a stud. We got to get a stud on the offensive line in this draft, and we got to get or in the free agency, and and we got to get a stud on the defensive line, whether that's a defensive tackle or whether that's an edge rusher. We got to get 1 and 1. We got to get 1 and 1. Right now, if you want to get 2 on the defensive or 2 offensive or something like that, but we got to get 2 nice studs in his first, like. If we got 2 second rounders in the first round, I would love to see a defensive stud and an offense, right on the line. Because if you want to play in this league, you got to be able to play with the big boys, and that starts on the line, the lines of scrimmage. Darnay Holmes, the 4-year veteran, lost his role as a Giants slot cornerback this season, has played a career-low 117 defensive snaps. He has been good for the Giants as a special teamer now. So, I don't know if he's going to want to go out and try to get paid big time bucks. I don't know, but I mean, some depth in the secondary, and his special teams, very good, very, very good. Let's see, because now we have Cordell Flott, who's now entrenched in the slot. Let's see here, Paris Campbell. Oh yeah, I don't know why we brought this guy in for a $4.7 million contract, and it's like. We really can't use this guy. I mean, it's like, what is wrong with you? Bring a guy in. He's healthy at all, fast, this, that, and other. We're just not going to use him. We can't find out. I mean, bring him and spend $5 million for basically absolutely nothing. Unbelievable. Other players. There are other players like Jihad Ward, Matt Breida, who could have made the list. Darren Waller won't be a free agent, but his future might be uncertain as well as disappointing. And also say, you see, maybe Mark Lewinsky. The Giants can get out after Mark Lewinsky at his contract too. So, that's another guy. But I mean, also, like Matt Lemieux. I mean, he's gone. So, other guys, some guys just can't stay healthy. Let me have this: is trading up in the first round to draft a quarterback or worth the cost for the New York Football Giants? So let's see here. This article here. It can be, but don't count on it. Now that the Giants have been eliminated from postseason, fans have naturally become fixated on the games that might affect the Giants' draft position. Entering the final week, this is how things stand per Tankathon, right? The Giants are drafted 5th. The Giants can go anywhere from 2nd to 8th, right? Obviously, the only way they can fall, to 6, 7, or 8, they have to beat the Eagles, right? But if the Commanders, if the Giants were to lose, they're at 5. But if the Cardinals, the Commanders, or the Patriots, one of those teams wins, the Giants moves up a spot. If 2 of those teams win, the Giants move up 2 spots. If the Commanders beat the Cowboys, tough task, but it is in Washington. If New England, who's been playing very well the past few weeks, beats the Jets, which is possible, the Giants will move up 1 spot. If the Cardinals beat, who the frick are they playing? Seattle. If they beat Seattle, that's Bob. The Cardinals have been playing well lately. Seattle has been not the same. So if the Cardinals somehow winds up beating Seattle, right, the Giants will move up another spot. So we'll have to wait and see. Giants currently have this number 5 overall pick. They can go no lower than 8, and they can possibly rise as high as number 2. Giants loss would guarantee pick 5 or better, no matter what the results of Week 18s are. Worse than New York. The Giants, their strength of schedule is the worst. So, which is good, because you don't want your strength of schedule being, really high, because what they do is they look at the team. If the teams are tied, say there's 3 teams tied with the record of 5 wins, right? Well, they look at the team that has the worst, the lowest strength of schedule, and they're like, this team had the easier schedule, and they still stink. So they're like, that team really needs to help. So that's why that team would draft higher or lower or whatever you want to call it than the others. That's why the Giants would draft above some of those other teams, because the Giants' strength of schedule is the lowest. All right. Giants would have the tiebreaker over Tennessee and the Chargers with 5 wins. Even if New York loses and New England and the Washington wins, it's still likely New England and Washington will pick before the Giants. Oh. All right. Let's see here. New York Giants hold the current strength of schedule tiebreaker, but projected strength of schedule after Week 18 with New England plus Washington wins. Oh, okay. So maybe the Giants won't. Maybe. And New England plus Washington hold the next tiebreaker and strength of schedule tie. So maybe the Giants. So we'll have to wait and see. It seems like great news, because the Giants are likely to be in the market for a quarterback in the upcoming draft. But the thing is, like, if Washington or New England, they're in, the only thing for the Giants to do would be to trade. And actually, I saw a little report also. Now, once again, you don't know how true these reports are and all, right? You don't know. But I did see a report, as I said, once again, don't know, that Washington was talking to the Bears about the possible number 1 pick, because Washington needs a quarterback. Patriots need a quarterback. They're going to, I'd be shocked if they don't draft quarterbacks, right? And if they're ahead of the Giants, the only way for the Giants to, would be to pick up the phone and talk to the Bears. So, going to be interesting. Very, very interesting. Very interesting. I'll have to wait and see. Daniel Jones will almost surely be a Giant in 2024 because of his $47 million cap hit and his $69.3 million in dead cap money. Yeah, so he will be a Giant next season. Whereas he could be released in 2025 with only $22.2 million in dead cap money. A trade is always possible, as Howie Roseman showed by swallowing Carson Wentz's $33.8 million in dead money to do it and creating a Super Bowl team nonetheless. More to the point, though, Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll thought enough of Jones after working with him for a year to sign him to that contract. But, you also notice, keep in mind, Shane got it with, see, he could get out after 2 seasons, right? They probably feel that Jones' disastrous 2023 had a lot to do with the Giants' tough early schedule combined with the horrendous play of the offensive line. What they cannot escape is Jones' now long injury history. Yep, that's permanent. Says Tyrod Taylor has done some great things as the Giants' backup. Most notably, he has shown with a somewhat improved but still very poor offensive line, it's possible to connect with the Giants' receiver group, run deep passes on a fairly regular basis. Yeah. But, whoops. And we got Tommy DeVito. So, in the 3 yards in a cloud of dust, NFL of my youth. Let's see who wrote this here. Anthony Del Genio. You can win an NFL championship without an elite quarterback play. Well, I don't know what years his youth are. Says no more. In the past 31 years, the only Super Bowls won by less than elite quarterbacks, Trent Dilfer with Baltimore in 2000, Brad Johnson, a good quarterback at Tampa in 20, Joe Flacco, who wasn't far from, oh yeah, but I mean, in the past 31 years, I mean, you had the good core. I mean, Trent Dilfer with the 2000 Ravens, Brad Johnson with the 2002 Tampa Bay, phenomenal defense. Joe Flacco, as they were talking about here, right? With, let's see, Joe Flacco, I mean, they had a good defense with the Ravens, But I mean, if you go back, if you go back in history, you need a, good quarterback play is paramount. I mean, we can go back almost however far you want. You go back to 58 and 59. Johnny Unitas, Hall of Famer. 1960, Norm Van Brocklin, Hall of Famer. 1961, 1962, Bart Starr, Hall of Famer. Billy Wade, 1963. Now, but the Bears defense, 1963, one of the greatest of all time, which just goes to show you Jim McMahon from 85 Bears. Trent Dilfer of the 2000 Ravens, the 2000 Raven defense. Brad Johnson, the 2002 Tampa Bay defense, right? Jeff Hostetler, the 1990 Giants, the 1990 Lawrence Taylor Giants, right? So, but I mean, you go back, you can go back, as I said, 64 with the Browns won, but they had Jim Brown, the greatest running back of all time. All right. I think Ryan was the quarterback, wasn't a phenomenal quarterback, but who did he beat in that championship game? Johnny Unitas. Right. But who do they have? Jim Brown. Right. 65, 66, 67, Bart Starr. 68, Joe Willie. Right. 69, Len Dawson. 1970. John Unitas started the game. Earl Morrall finished the game. But also, who did they beat? The Cowboys, right? Craig Morton, but who was also on their sideline? Roger Staubach. 1971 Cowboys, who? Roger Staubach. 1972, 1973, who? Bob Greasy, Hall of Famer. 1974, 1975, who? Terry Bradshaw, Hall of Famer. 1976, the Snake, Hall of Famer. 1977, who? Roger Staubach, Hall of Famer. 1978, 1979, who? Terry Bradshaw, Hall of Famer. 1980, Jim Plunkett, who won 2 Super Bowl championships. He was the number 1 overall pick in the 1971 draft out of Stanford. 1982, 1981, who? Joe Montana. Guy was pretty good, right? 1982, Joe Theismann, very good quarterback. 1983, once again, Jim Plunkett. He won 1980, 1983. 1984, you had two guys, right? Some guy who won the game, who? Joe Montana, right? But who did he go against? Dan Marino, right? 1985, you had Jim McMahon, right? But the 85 Bear defense. 1986, you had Phil Simms, right? But you had Lawrence Taylor in that defense. 1988, 89, who? Joe Montana, right? 1990, Jeff Hostetler took over from Phil Simms, but once again, phenomenal defense. 1990, 91, 92, 93, Jim Kelly, 4 years, lost them all, but Hall of Famer. 92, 93, 95, who? Troy Aikman. 1994, who won that? Steve Young. 1996, who won that? Brett Favre. 1997, 98, 97, Brett Favre and John Elway. 98, John Elway. Warner, was Warner 99? I think Warner was 99. 2000 was Trent Dilfer, but the Ravens defense, right? 2001 and 2. I think some dude named, no, 2001, some dude named Tom Brady, I think it was, right? 2002 was Brad Johnson, but the 2002 Tampa Bay defense, right? 3 and 4, some dude named, Tom Brady. So, it really, unless you got a phenomenal defense, it really, really helps. You need a good quarterback. Really need a good quarterback. And, the thing is with Daniel Jones, if everything is perfect, I think he can. I really think he can lead you. I definitely, everything's got to be perfect. You got to have a good, solid defense. He really could use a dog of a wide receiver, but he needs good offensive line play. And, we don't have that. We have the dog of a wide receiver. We have some nice pieces. We don't have an offensive line, So I don't know how far Daniel Jones can take you. As we saw last season, against worse teams, against bad defenses and all, he can do well. Do okay. But you start playing against the big boys, the Cowboys, right? The Eagles. The Eagles just kick the crap out of us, right? The big boys, we got annihilated, right? So I don't know how far Daniel Jones can take the Giants. I said if we got, like with the Eagles, if Daniel Jones had that offensive line, right? Dallas Goedert, DeVonta Smith, Julio Jones, AJ. I don't know how they afford this. Julio Jones, AJ Brown, they're paying him $20-25 million a year. DeVonta Smith, he's still on his rookie, but Julio Jones, they're paying Hurts $550 trillion a year. That offensive line. I don't know how they're affording all of this stuff. But if Daniel Jones had that, right, I think he might do pretty good. Yeah. But the Giants don't have that. So it kind of makes you wonder how far they're, what they're thinking as far as with Daniel Jones. So, it's going to be it's going to be interesting, really interesting, what they're thinking, because they're going to be checking out the quarterbacks without question. It'll be very interesting to see, because unless they're willing to trade up or something or whatever, be very interesting to see what they're thinking. They look at the quarterbacks and it's like, if they take Caleb Williams, I like this guy. We can, if Caleb's gone, okay, but I think we can work with this. You know what I mean? So this offseason is going to be huge. Absolutely. I said it's 7:26 this Sunday night. The clock is ticking. As far as guys going, not coming back, and then you got free agency and the draft and all that for the next 4 months. It's going to be a lot of excitement. Because you figure even after the draft's over, you still got some little free agency frenzy. You got not all the guys have been signed. So after the draft's over with, you have another week or so of the free agents. So after this, the next 4 months are going to be really, really interesting in New York Giants football. And then finally, could be possibly, sadly, unfortunately, Shep Swan song. Now, you always hate this crap here. Guy's been around for a long time, since 2016, because 2015 was Eric Flowers and Landon Collins, and then he had Eli, douche Apple in the first round. They took Shep in the second round. Back-to-back years, the second-round picks were far superior to the first-round picks. Way to go, Jerry Reese. But it says here, phased-out Giants, better on likely end. Not everybody leaves with a ring like Michael Strahan, which is true. Not everybody walks into the sunset with a Super Bowl ring. Sterling Shepard's career with the Giants will almost certainly end Sunday. The veteran's wide receiver, 8-year tenure, concluding with what has been mostly an ineffective season. And I think he even had a drop pass this past weekend. I think he had one target and he dropped it. While Shepard is disappointed in his diminished role and that he never brought a title to New York, he has embraced his time with the organization in what will become his 90th regular season game. And if he wasn't injured all these times, he certainly, without question, would have well over 100 games. He says, I know not everybody has that former Giants defense Michael Strahan story, leaving with the Super Bowl ring and retiring and walking off into the sunset. But I've enjoyed every minute of it, and I'm very appreciative of this organization and all they've done for me, my family. Shepard told reporters Wednesday, it's truly a blessing, man. Over the past 3 seasons, Shepard has played in just 24 games, thanks to injuries. With his 14 this year, accompanied by limited usage, 7 catches for 39 yards and 1 touchdown, and 14% of the offensive snaps. The Giants transitioned to a younger and deeper wide receiver group, but we still need a dog. And in the 2016 second-round pick could not crack the rotation beyond being the 5th on the depth chart. In his career, Shep has 369 catches, 4,077 yards, 16th in franchise history, and 23 touchdowns. The veteran is accepted. And I said, if he wasn't injured so often, those numbers would be, he'd have 500 receptions, over 5,000 yards, 6,000 yards, if not more. And he'd have a lot more touchdowns. But his injuries just killed him. The veteran has accepted reality that this could be not only the end for the Giants, with whom he has spent his entire career, and he calls it huge, but also in the NFL. He wants to do what's best for his family and kids, ages 4 and 5. And they may include coaching, though. He admits that role would require a lot of time away from them, too. Oh, absolutely. I wanted to be a college football player. I wanted to be an NFL football player. I've done that. It's a blessing, the whole thing. If this is the end, then I just look at it that way. It's truly a blessing. Well, it's that's a heck of a way to look at it. He's an absolute class act guy. He's somebody you want in the locker room. What he was saying, and it makes sense. If he's thinking about coaching, well, that's a full time. When you're talking full time in the NFL, you're talking 80 hours a week. There's no I'm coming in at 8 o'clock. I'll be leaving at 4, right? We're coaching and go home. No. So it's ain't a 40-hour job. So if he's trying to spend more time with his family and all of that, maybe coaching may not be in the cards for him. However, maybe some type of front office thing, if the Giants could sign and find something for the guy to do, right? I'm sure they can find something for the guy to do. He bleeds blue. His entire career's been here. The guy's nothing but a huge asset to this organization, the locker room, the players, everything. It would really behoove the Giants to try to find and keep this guy in the organization, whatever that might wind up being. As I said, if he doesn't want to, the thing is, with your kids are only 4 and 5, obviously, one time. If it means a lot for you to spend time with your children and all that and everything, and see them grow up, because you don't need the money, right? Hopefully you don't need the money. Take a diminished role doing something in somebody's front office or whatever. But that way, every day at nighttime, you can be sitting down having dinner with your kids. Your wife is at home taking care of the kids, right? But at nighttime, you can be home every night at nighttime, reading a story to your kids, tucking them in a bed. Because, one of the things that, when I was, I used to work shift work when I was back in the 90s when my kids were growing up. And it was a 12-hour shift, and I used to try to work as much overtime as I could and all of that. So, unfortunately, I was so concerned and worried about spending time away from the family so I could make as much money as I could to help support the family, that I wasn't always around when the kid's growing up, and it's amazing how fast time flies by, and the kids just start sprouting up. And I tell you what, if I could go back and do it all over again, I would change it. I would do something that I could spend more time at home with my kids, because that means the most to me. And if that being home with his children, watching them grow up, means a lot to him. I said maybe coaching may not be right now may not be in the cards for him. But I said the Giants should try to do all that they could possibly do to keep that guy in this organization, because he's a Giant through and through, and he's a true winner. So, all right, guys. Well, it's been 1 hour and almost 5 minutes. Whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you, thank you, thank you. If anybody spends any time watching a replay this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It means the world to me. Thank you. And as always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo!